So I'm going to recreate the 1960s eye, which is what we call in the makeup business a cut and crease look. So in the way that means a cut and crease, because it really brings out that crease in the eye where it looks like it's been cut out. And the best way to start that is you want to really conceal the lid, making sure that there's no discoloration of any sort. Since it's such thin area, the whole face, there's always slight pinkness, redness, or purpleness, depending on your skin tone. But there's always a slight shadowing. And in this look, it's about having a really light lid and deep definitions. So you can just take out all the little redness that Bridget had, just really lightly. Once that's done, I'm gonna set her a little bit with the foundation. Just a little bit of the powder foundation, just a tiny bit. So now we're going to start with the shadows. So I'm going to use the flat side of the brush, and I'm just going to lightly set the shadow. Just from her lash line, really depositing the color in there. And because I'm using the flat side of the brush, the way it was designed, you can see it's going right into the socket. And because of the shape of the way I'm having her look down, you can really see the shape of the eye. And I'm just literally just following it. And it just creates that really pretty light lid. Again. And I'm just going to press the shadow on. And it's all within the lid socket right here. And you can see I'm barely doing any work. The brush is doing all of it. Then what I like to do once I've set the shape of the lid, I then take the brush, and maybe look straight ahead. I'm just going to angle it just a tiny bit. With what's left on the brush, I added no more color. There's always plenty of color, especially since these shadows are really pigmented. I just kind of bring it to the edge of the eye and just bringing it out towards the brow to create a bigger eye, not so rounded. Let me look down again. So I'm just going to take that little bit. When I went to the other side, I did grab a tiny touch, and if you notice, I just tap. I'm not digging into the product, it's just a light tap. Down. And I'm just setting it. Now that I've added the base shade, the enhanced shade, I'm going to go in now and create real definition with a defined shade. And I'm using a rounded barrel brush because I'm going to go into the crease to create definition. So I need it to be nice and tight. And because it's a rounded barrel brush, it's meant to be used the tip. When you want to start here, you want to start in the corner, but you don't come close to the lash line because you want to leave this as open as possible. So you come right into the outside crease, just like a little dot like that. So it lies right in the middle between the lash line and the brow. You go in here, and I start to do soft, connecting round strokes. It's trying to do one solid stroke will sometimes usually give you a wonky eye, and it will be hard to recreate it on the other side. And so all you're doing is following the crease. And you see again, the brush is doing most of the work. I have not gone back to grab more color. Once you get to this little corner, you see most of the color's been deposited. I'm just still using the same brush with the same amount of product. I'm now going to lift it out like a little kick with the brow. And then I will fill that little part in right in there. So now that I've done most of the look, which is the base shade and the defined shade to create that cut crease look of the 60s. To really finalize it, we have to add the highlight because it's all about contrast. So I'm using a flat barrel brush again because I'm just going to place the color and I'm really going to define under the brow. So I'm using the flat side of the brush. I'm just picking up a little color. And then because it's a shimmer, you always never want to dust shimmer around because then it just creates a whole sparkle. We want the sparkles to be in certain areas only. So I'm going to go right under the brow. And the first place you put the brush in something like this is going to be the most impact. So I want her eye to go really lifted and give that kind of hold out look. So I'm going to go directly right under the arch of the brow on the highest point. And then from there, I'm just going to follow along. It's going to be thinner at the front part of the brow and much fuller as you go out. So immediately it makes this color, as you can see, go deeper. It makes the contrast greater. So I work down this way just to blend into the other color. Then I'm going to go back again, grab a little color, and I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to start right above. If you look straight at camera, I'm going to look right above her pupil. Look back down, because this will create the brightness. And then from here, I'm just going to go along the edge. Create that really great pop. And a little bit right here at the separation. So it creates that really 60s eye because the crease does not come close to the lash line. So I'm going to use our water resistant liquid liner in Dark Valentine. And it's water resistant, so it has a little ball inside, so I always suggest shake it before every use. And it has a super fine brush. And again, it's the same technique, tilting your head back to be able to get the liner. And just doing short, connecting strokes. I'm going to have you look straight ahead. Grab a little bit more, shake it each time. I'm just going to come right to that outside edge and create a line. You look down. So that lets me know how far, because what happens, look straight ahead. If you're doing it just this way while you're looking down, you usually tend to drop the eye. So this way it gives that really lovely lift. So I'm going to look down again. So I come back from this angle. And I create the line and match up. Just making sure you really get the base of the lash. You want to go a little thicker. Yes, I do. We could leave it like that, look straight ahead, which is a little bit softer. But when we're doing this look, it's the 60s. And the 60s was all about hair and makeup and short skirts and go-go boots. So it's all about drama. Once the eyes are done, what I like to do is I like to go in now and conceal the bottom. I hadn't done that before, as you noticed, because anything that falls down, which we like to call fallout, I can clean up. So when you look up any eyeshadow or any shimmer, you can pick up with your finger, or you can pick up with the sponge. And then I like to go in and conceal and just have a really nice, clean eye. And this is great too. You can use to create that really strong angle right there. I like to just use my fingers. Again, you can use a sponge. And just slightly set, and it just creates that really, really clean line, which is really big. Era. If you want to soften it a little bit, you can always take the edge of your finger and lightly blot, never rubbing. And so it just creates a softer line. That's up to you how intense you want to have it. Once she's concealed, I'm just going to lightly powder her. Just really lightly setting. And I'm going to take the enhanced shade, the base shade, and I'm going to connect it to that outside liner. Just add it all along the bottom. So now that the whole eye is finished, it's not complete until you do mascara. So what I like to do is have Bridget look down. I coat the tops, and then you really gotta look fake. Bridget look down. So I really coat the tops with the tip of the mascara. Then I come to the other eye. Just really coat the tops. Give it a few minutes to dry. Then I actually use my finger as a base so that a lot of the mascara can get on it. And I just really make sure you get it right to the base and then just turn up. And I'm using Elizabeth Arden's Lash Statement Mascara, which is a lifting and curling mascara. What I do is I twirl it. You can just pass it through in the classic way, but this wand was designed that if you twirl it, you even get more deposit, as you can see on the lash. And let's say if you get a little bit of mascara on your lid, I'm going to look down. All you have to do, like I did right there, is using one of these that you can get at any drugstore, the flat side of a Q-tip and a pointy. That just helps you clean up any edge. And then, to do the bottom, I'm gonna have you look up, Bridget. I use, again, the tip, making sure I really aim for the base. And I move back and forth on it. And then once I've done that, I really set it by going on the sides and putting it back. So think of mascara sort of like a colored gel. Because wherever you leave the lash, when it dries, is where it's gonna stay. Perfect. How gorgeous is it?